How's everyone doing? Hello? I need to fix this again. What is happening? Oh my god. I was a Zayn Malik stan, by the way. Well, I was like a Louis person. Someone asked about One Direction. I should probably start by saying that. Hello, also. But if there's a One Direction question, I'm gonna jump right on it. You know what I'm saying? That's what the issue is. My camera's crooked in the tripod. Good lord. Anyway, hi. I'm doing pretty okay. Got lots going on this here week. And I'm gonna try to make H Bomber Guy video, but I would need to film it. So my schedule's already gonna be off because I might film at my parents' house actually. I'll have to decide. I'm gonna visit my family this week unexpectedly, so and the reason why I didn't expect it initially was because I thought my car had to go in for the repair from the guy hitting me. But then they're like, it's only aesthetic and it's very minimal. So we're going to wait till January to fix it till after Christmas. So I have a car so I can go, essentially, is why I am doing that. So I'm a bit based and red pilled probably because I like the H Bomber Guy video for the most part, but I do have some like pretty strong criticisms of it. Particularly, he does something in the video that really irks me with more popular creators that we can discuss. So, the problem is I'm really worried about, I'm really worried about, getting big old hated on for that opinion, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, so. What, does the audience... We're gonna only watch the last hour of it, because I'm mostly done. And then, because I also need to film a foodie beauty video and edit it in the next couple hours. So I don't have too much time today to do like the 4 hours that I keep doing. So, H Bomber Guy went to university, but I think he only did an undergrad, right? I think so. There's a wiki on him. British YouTuber. Okay, y'all can't see what I'm doing. Well, hold on. Nope, that's the wrong screen. Here we go. I am looking. I think the video is pretty decent. Okay, so let's get into I guess we'll start with my criticisms. Yeah, he seems to have done an undergrad. So, I'm
gonna take
my criticism for him is that it's his content farm section that I'm not the craziest about. When he starts bringing in I guess for what he describes as drama YouTubers who make content and then cite each other, I think that's a bit of an issue because how do I explain this? I also feel like it's so early in the stream to get into these things, but anyway. So, what I find to be annoying with it tends to be leftist creators for some reason that do this the most. I'm not sure what that's about. I blame ContraPoints probably. Anyway, I love ContraPoints, by the way. I'm saying that kind of facetiously. Anywho, there's this concept of like degrading the quality of content of people who have to put videos out more than like twice a year, right? Like he's like, oh, these people like don't take enough care and enough time into their videos because I take like 6 months to make a video. Bestie, if I took 6 months off of YouTube, the only undergrad thing I'm gonna get into in a minute. It's not a bad thing. I'll just explain why I'm thinking that way in a second. But, when you get into these like cycles of commentating on people and then like kind of giving them shit because like they don't make like masterpiece 4-hour long videos like you do, I don't think that's a fair criticism. No, but what he said was, he see, this is what I was talking about. He talks about he talks about iNabber, he talks about Evangeline Skov, he talks about Bo Blacks, he talks about Turkey Tom, okay? Those people, content farms are like the people who upload like every day. Like Illuminati, like those like Reddit videos, like who else uploads every day like that? Even like PewDiePie's videos at some point to a certain extent. It's the issue I have with that is I'm getting to it. The issue that I have is that it's here. I'll even play the section if we're gonna have we're already gonna have a debate about it. Where is it? There's so many things. So that's all James, right? This here. Speed up a little bit because it's
The phrase content mill refers to organizations which produce huge amounts of material very quickly, designed to get attention, with no interest in quality. If you've ever seen an article in a search with a compelling title but which says nothing for several hundred words and only tells you the thing you wanted at the end while showing you 7 million ads, you've had the content mill experience, my friend. Some of these are just a link to a video someone else made, but they got to show you ads. There's a ton of channels out there whose objective is to make as much stuff as possible, as fast and as easily as possible. We just watched Cinemassacre become one of these, making easier, lower effort, worse videos, and for the ones that were supposed to be good, outsourcing the editing to a guy they underpaid so badly he later quit, and the writing to a guy who turned out to be stealing shit. The quality suffers, yeah, but if you don't care about quality, you save yourself a lot of time and effort. The people who are in this for the money are engaged in a constant race to the bottom to find the easiest possible content to make and still get paid for it. If you're a nerd, and look at you, you've been recommended a YouTube short where a robot explains what happens in a comic.
The sad story of
like
Rocket
this
Raccoon.
stuff, by the way, I 100% agree is content mill stuff. Just a preface. This is not what I was referring to in my own my screen's all messed up. Here we go. In my own criticisms, by the way.
The drunk who knew Batman's identity after Homelander lost his mind.
These float to the top because there's catchy names and there's hundreds of them, so they get recommended to everyone even though nobody likes them. My favorite insane content farm stuff is when an AI explains the plot of a movie to you, but the title is "A Woman Wakes Up Covered in Bees" or something.
I never heard of those, by the way. These like movie things, I've never seen one. I've never been... Like, I've never actually seen them. When we get to the part that I'm critical of, I'll pause and replay it.
Welcome back to Movie Recaps. Today I will show you a drama, fantasy film from 2018, titled Be With You. Spoilers ahead.
These are so perplexing they wrap back around to being performance art. He has only 3 organs left, but the scientists turn him into a super soldier. It's RoboCop! An AI voice explains the plot of RoboCop to you! Incredible! But if something becomes successful, even if it's something this weird, people are going to try and do the same thing, especially if it's easy to crank out, like an AI recapping a film.
The opening scene features a guy who finds himself confined within a large cube.
The opening sequence introduces
Cube.
a prologue. After this, the chaos caused by the Egyptians is depicted.
Today, I'm going to explain a film based on the real-life story of the youngest warrior of World War II called
I get
Soldier Boy. Today I'm going
I
to
get like the Reddit ones, like the AI Reddit voice TikToks, but I don't get the other ones.
Playing a horror zombie film titled Warm Bodies.
And walked over to the man. When the man saw it, he was still cursing at his wife.
The Dog King has gathered hundreds of stray dogs. He is leading his entire army to attack the city.
Hi, Jake Recaps here. Today I am going to explain a movie called Allerlero.
So you can see how content mill shit dovetails very nicely with ripping people off, if not outright plagiarism. And right in the middle of this ecosystem are reaction videos, where people just upload themselves reacting to other people's videos. The money almost makes itself. Reaction videos are a key piece of the Illuminati puzzle here, because that was Blair's previous content mill. A few years back, reacting to Reddit posts was a popular format, and it was easy to make, so hacks jumped on it. She used to make videos reacting to popular Reddit posts, and she'd try to add to the jokes, and,
You know, low-key, I know the Reddit content's like corny, but am I the only one that misses Soot House? I don't know why. I just feel like I miss them, and they haven't. I don't think they've uploaded since like 2018 or something, right? Hold on. I can't spell anything clearly. 5 years ago. 4 years ago is their last upload. Me, 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 me. Okay, so here's the thing. When we're gonna ask about if I've watched his other content, I've only watched the Roblox video. So
Manage it.
After all, if I can't trust the President of the United States, who can I trust? And that's, Tricky Dick. Very cool, man. The Watergate scandal man himself.
Extremely boringly reading out Reddit posts wasn't good content, but it was content. She saw moderate success doing this for a few years, briefly forming a communal channel where she and several friends reacted to Reddit posts together called Sad Milk, a channel which has since been completely obliterated, and she's currently sending cease and desists to the other members to stop them talking about why. So that's fun, but this kind of explains a lot. In a way, Blair has always just been reading other people's stuff at you. She spent over half a decade trying to become a popular YouTuber, by any means necessary. Before these, she used to do storytime videos back when they were really popular, which led to a notorious video where she talked about clogging a toilet by literally filling it with shit.
I didn't even see the hole, so I knew the poop wouldn't go.
When video essays started being a popular format, she pivoted again and started making what she makes now. None of this has ever been about actually making something she cares about. It's always been about making something popular. When these finally caused her to really take off as a creator, she basically immediately deleted all of her previous cringe attempts to cash in on other trends. Remember when nearly 1 million views disappearing from Philip's channel was a bit weird? Try 40 million. Sounds like those videos aged like milk. Sad milk, that is. The Illuminati channel is a video essay content mill. She has a team of editors helping to put out videos every other day, and she doesn't need a writer. Wikipedia's got her covered, and if there happens to be a documentary on the topic, she can just quote that 40 fucking times. The video happens overnight because she didn't have to do any work. There's a part in the vaccines video where she talks about all the documentaries she's watched as part of her research process, and I don't think she realizes she's telling on herself here.
And I've got to tell you that I've seen a
again, I cannot stress enough, my criticisms do not relate to Illuminati. The people who it's like what my criticisms rely on are like the subgenre stuff. Because the thing is too, right? I think well, okay, I'll get to the part.
A lot of documentaries doing research for these deep dives. The Netflix Betting on Zero for Herbalife, The Dark Side of Chocolate for Nestle, documentary series on the Hikikomori, and all the Goop episodes on Netflix, Blackfish for SeaWorld, there's a lot.
This is just a confession. Referencing the big documentaries on a topic you're covering is fine. Quoting them or using some footage from them makes a lot of sense, I think. But at a certain point, you're just repackaging other people's work and selling it off as your own. And speaking of selling, why would someone do this? Well, when I sat down to watch the Fire Festival video, I got served 2 advertisements before I could hit play, and then immediately got hit by a commercial for Blair's plushie.
Make sure to snag one before it's gone, because these are not coming back once this runs out.
Then 11 minutes in, I got a message from today's sponsor, Mint Mobile, where I could get Squixteen Dingles off my Bext burger.
And we will begin to unravel what happened at the Fire Festival right after this ad break. Make sure you go to mintmobile.com/MLM. That's
Does anybody in the chat know? I actually was just curious. Does our Mans here ever take sponsors? Like, I'm actually just curious. It's not even like a, trying to be grumpy or whatever. Does he take sponsors ever? I'm curious. I like Savvy Rights.
And within seconds of that sponsorship ending, I got a second sponsorship. She has 2 right next to each other. Go to blueland.com/Illuminati.
To blueland.com/MLM. That's 15% off your first order of any products of Blueland orders at blueland.com/MLM.
Now, I don't want to speculate how much money Blair made from this sloppy shit that was made in about a day, but I do know how much a video with that many views makes in ad revenue, and I know what the overhead is on those plushies, and I've been offered similar sponsorships. So I'm pretty comfortable in saying she made a fuck ton of money from stealing someone else's documentary. It turns out it's the same twist it always is. Why did this stupid shit happen? Oh, it's money! This is a really good racket. I'm almost jealous. With a small team of editors, you could knock one of these out every few days. And she does. I mean, she doesn't need a writer. Now, maybe this technically isn't plagiarism. Maybe you give them a pass because having a link somewhere in the description makes it okay to have done this. But I think we can all agree that even if it isn't plagiarism, it is, at the very least, shit. When we're talking about creative works, questions like this aren't really about rigid definitions. It's about whether or not something passes the vibe check, as adults pretending to be children might say. A lot of this is about how something feels. Case in point, when Blair accused someone else of stealing from her. Plot twist, baby! Party time. The Legal Eagle debacle. This is Devin Stone, law YouTuber and actual
as a
lawyer.
code is wild because I'm like, why did we not? Huh? What? What? Where's the part I'm looking? Oh my god. Oh, it's here.
What really surprises me about the response is how deliberately manipulative it is. She makes a big show of how thorough she's being in her response.
With that definition being clearly identified, let's go ahead and
I ate her up too, by the way, for the pretty much the same stuff. So again, I think the thing, and I mean this with kindness, y'all, I can be critical of people that you like, and I can also mostly like the content. But there are some things that I'm like, that's a bit strange. Because I've seen this through a couple times already.
look at what Harris brought to the Twitter table.
Well,
She
most
shows my
of it.
tweets about
Like I
the
said, I have
situation,
not been able
obviously,
to finish
and she reads
the
them
end
all
part.
out, which makes sense. She's used to reading people's words for a long time, but she doesn't show the video she's actually responding to.
Harris posted this video saying, and I quote, "Personally, at Illuminati, I would define plagiarism as something
Harris? Oh yeah, Harris. Okay, well, that's a cool name. I like that name.
more specific. For example, copying someone else's documentary directly into your script." End quote.
Madison
After slowly
is
and painfully reading
True World Happy Mind. Her name's Madison. If you were like really, really early into her channel, I subbed to her before she was even monetized, I think. If anyone remembers the Blue Kitchen, anyway. She went by her actual name and it was Madison, and then her last name, but I'm not gonna say her last name because I feel like that's doxy.
out the entire surrounding context, why doesn't she show any of the video? Well, because it would make her look really fucking bad. If she showed the video directly comparing her with Dia, she wouldn't be able to defend herself at all. It's obvious what she did was wrong. Instead, she shows this one screenshot, which just happens to be the part where she's technically quoting something on the screen. And then she gives the defense that, look, you can see I was quoting it.
However, in his own video, he shows where I'm audibly quoting a direct line from the documentary, and even visually you can see it on the screen with the quotation marks.
A direct line from the documentary? The video says it's from a lawsuit with the FDA.
Here's
I have to
something
admit.
that he also never mentions, which is interesting. But is still true and still follows to his point, by the way, also. You can have something 100% perfectly cited, but if most of it isn't your own words, it's still plagiarized. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can have, let's say, like, if we're talking about Blair's videos, right? Even if she perfectly cited everything, it's still not her own work, because it's like a big proponent of essays and things are constructions of your own thoughts, right? That's why I have like so much like I always make a point to include like some sort of opinion-esque section into my videos so that they're not entirely derived from the books that I use. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, it's, he gets to it to a certain degree with, what's his name there? James or whatever? Why do I not remember his, Summerton, right? James Summerton? But like, in an academic sense, right? Like, you still need to do, oh, and the reason why I just said, oh, he only has an undergrad is because when you get into, research and citation in your master's is way more intense than in your undergrad. That's why I was saying that earlier. I never really got to finish that point. Because the thing is, when you're copyright, like when you publish a dissertation or if you publish a dissertation or you publish a paper, right, at the graduate level, you're subjected to copyright. Like you genuinely, like I can't show you because I'll dox myself, but like at the bottom of my capstone research project is copyright and then my full name. So you the reason why you have to be so careful too is you could pretty much, you're kind of up for a lawsuit if you screw it up, right? So that's also why often in your, like, if you read like research papers, they have what's called like synthesized citation, which means like there's like 5 of them in the same line, because you try to collect as many people as possible who even have a remotely similar idea to what you're going for. And that's also why when you read research papers, you usually want to click on the reference that they're putting in their reference list to see if that guy even made it up or if you got to go again. You know what I mean? So, Anyway, let's continue.
This is some pretty clever sleight of hand. She's showing specifically the one section where she technically is quoting something.
At the time of recording, it was really obvious to me that it was a citation of the documentary.
You know she's pretending to quote a lawsuit while actually reading someone else's words, but the audience watching doesn't. Her official response on YouTube has way more views than the Twitter video she's responding to here. More people have seen a manipulatively framed single image from the video than the video itself. I got some replies from people who had clearly just seen her video and not seen mine, trying to defend her on the basis that she did put it in quotes, she just didn't cite the source correctly, and you can find it in the description. Some poor Illuminati fans out there think I'm mad at her for quoting some words slightly wrong.
Y'all, hold on. I'll show you what an actually referenced paper looks like. I need to do this without doxing myself, so give me a second. The topic we're talking about, the plagiarism on YouTube video. So I just kind of talk about like the what is this? Oh, right. We're just talking about the plagiarism video in the context of the my sort of academic background and things like that. Anyway, I guess I can dox where I went to school because I graduated, and you guys can't like get mad at me about it anymore. Not y'all specifically, but you know, people on the internet are weird. So, but this is what a published part. I saw this to some degree. I don't know. Anyway, this is the references, and this paper's only 22 pages. By the way, it's only 22 page only. I know, but because it's not, I didn't do a thesis master's. I did a coursework master's because I wanted the coursework one included internships, so I could get a certification. That's why I chose it instead of a research-based one, because I feel like, knowing me, you would expect that I did the research one, which I toyed with the idea for a very long time. Anyway, so if you see, right, 22 pages, but look at how long this is, right? There are, I think, 10 pages of reference. There's 6.5 pages of references on here. So this is like, but then if you look at some of my, look like this, right? This is one citation grouping. That's that sort of synthesized citation thing that I'm referring to. It's like, you just try to make sure you group in every single person who might have remotely had the same idea, because you're not about to get caught lacking. You know what I'm saying? You say you don't even have to use MLA citations on YouTube. Yeah, I used to do some of my videos, if you look, I used to do mine in either MLA or APA, depending on the vibe that I felt and what citations I had already made. But it's I stopped doing that only because I realized it wasn't necessarily accessible to people. If that makes sense? Because if you look at a citation like this, right? You don't get the author's first name. You get an initial, which makes it hard to look up. Also, it tends to link to things that are usually, if it includes a DOI or whatever, it doesn't usually link to the open source. It tends to not link to the open source one if there is one available. So I just started doing like X by X person just because it was more digestible to people. Obviously, I know how to do APA. I've done it. It's all here. But I just kind of decided not to do that. Because, again, YouTube isn't, that's the other thing, right? Even with this video, to a certain degree, YouTube isn't university, right? Like, the levels are different, but, excuse me. Oh, this is not a Smash, this is the e.l.f. Putty Blush brush. My only Smashbox brush is this one, which is an eye brush. What play am I seeing time sensitive? Girl, I don't know. Oh, jeez. Sorry. Oh my god. Okay, anyway. Mind you, as I mentioned, though, like, it's not something like, just because I'm saying, by the way, that like YouTube's not university, this does not mean you can steal. That I'm not condoning stealing. Anyway, let's continue.
Because they assume, in good faith, that the YouTuber they like wouldn't tell them an obvious lie. Sadly, Illuminati isn't a unique story. She's just the most prominent tip of the iceberg of content mill video essay garbage. If you want to see these extremely poor practices in action, you need only watch the videos about Illuminati.
No, the red-handled one is a... What does it say it is? It doesn't... Shadow blending brush? Anyway, I will continue.
You know, drama YouTube. The worst part of YouTube.
Koba says point of view, showing a picture of a man with a hatchet, who I assume is H-Bomber guy, but I'm not too sure, to be honest.
Drama YouTube is its own sub-ecosystem of content mills, grinding out
Here we
infinite
go.
buckets of slop about whatever's happening in that moment.
So I'm not gonna milk this anymore after this video. Okay.
These people are so busy making the videos, they don't even have time to find out what Blair did. They're finding the most popular tweets on the topic and hitting the record button.
Not enough that they steal ideas. They have to go out of their way to slander others' work for having the most banal similarities.
Okay, here's the thing, though.
Wait, banal?
He's real about bull blacks. Okay? It is real about bull blacks. I will concede. Real about bull blacks. Okay? I'm not defending bull blacks. Don't even try me on that
They're
one.
watching other drama videos and making their own version. I've seen the compilation I made of Blair copying Dia in like 40 different places at this point.
Okay, but here's the thing with this, okay?
Is that it's now
It's... Sometimes I know that it becomes difficult to find things in Twitter threads, okay? And so let's say, here's the thing that I have a problem with this particular component of it, right? Sometimes, dare I say, people don't know who you are, okay? I don't know who he is, okay? I watched half the Roblox video. So when this was happening, I had no idea who he was. And I didn't really know, like, what he was about, what was going on, whatever. And, like, if you're still referencing the situation as it occurred and saying who it was from, like, as in who was the one involved, I think clipping it from elsewhere isn't a problem. Because I think he doesn't mention this, but in university, you're allowed to cite a point that someone else cited in their paper, if that makes sense. So let's say someone cites something from one of the most, like, the art of career, okay? It's a self-reflection process in education, okay? That's all. Anyway, and it's by a guy named Pinar, Pinar, okay? And they, that paper is referenced. Boblax is a what's it called? Commentary channel type. But he's in like the Nicholas Diorio, Keemstar, Turkey Tom end of YouTube. But it's you're allowed to cite something through somebody else. Sometimes finding even direct sources isn't really possible. And in an academic context, you're allowed to do that. So it's one of those things where it's like clipping a video from another video, especially if you reference the videos, I don't think is a problem and shouldn't be this whole section.
Crossed the drama mill event horizon. So instead of being credited to me, it's credited to the other drama YouTubers the current drama YouTuber got it from. In this instance, the previous drama YouTuber's name isn't even spelled right. That's the level of research we're dealing with here. I don't really care about getting credit for a video I made in 5 seconds. The point I was trying to make was that Dia is the guy who deserves the credit. But there's still an irony to it. I was trying to make a point about the importance of crediting people correctly, and now my Twitter video has human centipeded its way.
Because the thing is that you can say, like, H-Bomber guy tweeted this thing, and then clip it from the Boblax video. And that's not a problem. Boblax went to your mom last night. Oh my god.
And now my Twitter video has human centipeded its way out of the anals of drama YouTubers into the mouths of second-order drama YouTubers who don't even know where it's from, but are ready to reheat and serve it. This is the lower...
But just because you don't know where it's from doesn't mean you're just pumping stuff out. Like, that's not what that means. Like, sometimes you just don't know where it's from. Does that mean you're not allowed to make content? I think that's strange. Like, things get so lost in this. I think people don't realize, like, when you research, especially popular topics like this, how much stuff gets lost in the sauce. A lot of stuff gets lost in the sauce.
Worst effort shit you can imagine. They can't even spell plagiarist right. Information itself deteriorates.
Like, the internet anarchist stuff, like, this is the thing, right? There's obviously, there's different levels, right? Like, I get that.
In the process of
but just because someone brought into your tweet and they might have clipped it from another video, especially because, like, downloading things off of on Twitter, especially the use of Twitter and the ability to use Twitter has been very, very dicey the last couple months too,
quantities
right?
of content. The mask has fallen and the gears of the mill spin naked before us as they wheel and crunch, all meaning to dust and raise Shadow Legends sponsorships.
I don't think it's wrong to point it out as an issue, but then to use that as an example of people just pumping out stuff only for money, I think is a stretch. That's what my issue is. Sorry, I just got a text about my father-in-law almost lighting his house on fire. Anyway, anyways, so sorry. I keep getting a bunch of like crazy texts, and because it's like I'm leaving for a few days tomorrow, I kind of need to know what's happening, so I have to actually pay attention. Anyway.
To audible.com/repent Harlequin to enter a coma and escape this madness. Anyway, thank you for taking the time to reply, Blair. I disagree. I don't think your new special definition of plagiarism with a loophole in it is plagiarism. I think plagiarism is plagiarism and you are a plagiarist.
Yeah, so he's saying stuff like, I get that. I think what it is that I think it's a big stretch to go, people got my video from another video, so they're content farms. Does that make sense? That's what that's what I take an issue with. That's my issue. Because I think, another thing is, I hate to be that guy, sometimes you have to be a content farm. That's kind of the reality of everything. It's like, I'm not saying a content farm in like the bad way. I'm saying like in the sense of like, if I spent, let's say, a month making like a video like this, which I think I would be capable of doing. I like, maybe not like edited like this, because we all know, we can be honest on the Mika's Rhetoric channel, okay? My editing skills are subpar at absolute best. Okay? It's the
meal and the YouTubers who don't even know where it's from, but are ready to reheat and serve it. This is the lowest effort shit you can imagine. They can't even spell plagiarist right. Information itself deteriorates in the process of producing industrial quantities of content.
Calling it industrial quantities of low effort content is what a content farm is. Like, that's what it is. Oh my god.
Other examples I wanted to get to, I swear, but on the 28th of April, Blair released a video entitled Illuminati Exposed, which contains an apology to Legal Eagle, a response to Hubba Boma Guy's plagiarism claims, and I guess a response to the 5 other things she's currently being accused of. She seems great, and in the section intended for me, she responded to my tweet. So in the interest of fairness, let's see what she has to say.
Before I get into the accusation itself, I want to address the topic of plagiarism. And that word has been tossed around a ton, and it's not something to be taken lightly. And I just want to take a minute to define this word.
She begins by citing the many dictionary definitions of plagiarism, which is very funny.
On screen are definitions for the word plagiarism as defined by Merriam-Webster, Dictionary.com, and the University of Oxford.
But then, she disregards all of them anyway and invents her own special definition with a loophole in it.
I'm showing multiple sources defining plagiarism, but the overall definition is going to boil down to this. Plagiarism is to take someone else's idea as their own or to not credit the source.
The actual definition, you know, the thing that is wrong, passing off other people's work or ideas as your own, has had this new thing grafted onto it to do with crediting of sources. The other definitions do bring up not crediting people as part of it, but Blair has made it central to her definition. Remember what I said about plausible deniability? This is Blair trying to cash that in. She objectively has passed off the work of Brian Deere, the Fire Festival documentarians, and countless others as her own, up to and including reading out entire paragraphs from articles without even telling you she was quoting anything. But in this new definition, as long as you hide a link in a document no one will read or mention once you used it as a source, it magically becomes not plagiarism anymore. She then gives the defense that she did cite Deere in that paste bin of hers, but her video demonstrating this actually shows why this is a cheap trick.
When you go to my sourcing page for this particular episode, you can also see that the documentary is listed as a source.
Illuminati's paste bin full of disorganized links is embarrassing to watch her scroll through. I assume she was trying to show how easy it is to find the documentary in her list, but then she couldn't find it. She cited it as a contextless YouTube link, so she has to have text appear on the screen saying which of these sources was the documentary. What really surprises me about the response is how deliberately manipulative it is. She makes a big show of how thorough she's being in her response.
With that definition being clearly identified, let's go ahead and take a look at what Harris brought to the Twitter table.
She shows my tweets about the situation, obviously, and she reads them all out, which makes sense. She's used to reading people's words for a long time, but she doesn't show the video she's actually responding to.
Harris posted this video saying, and I quote, "Personally, at Illuminati, I would define plagiarism as something a bit more specific. For example, copying someone else's documentary directly into your script." End quote.
After slowly and painfully reading out the entire surrounding context, why doesn't she show any of the video? Well, because it would make her look really fucking bad. If she showed the video directly comparing her with Deere, she wouldn't be able to defend herself at all. It's obvious what she did was wrong. Instead, she shows this one screenshot, which just happens to be the part where she's technically quoting something on the screen. And then she gives the defense that, look, you can see I was quoting it.
However, in his own video, he shows where I'm audibly quoting a direct line from the documentary, and even visually you can see it on the screen with the quotation marks.
A direct line from the documentary? The video says it's from a lawsuit with the FDA. I have to admit, this is some pretty clever sleight of hand. She's showing specifically the one section where she technically is quoting something.
At the time of recording, it was really obvious to me that it was a citation of the documentary.
You know she's pretending to quote a lawsuit while actually reading someone else's words, but the audience watching doesn't. Her official response on YouTube has way more views than the Twitter video she's responding to here. More people have seen a manipulatively framed single image from the video than the video.
I'm pausing once. A lot of you are misunderstanding me as a means of you liking the video and liking the perception. And I agree with 95% of the video, and I said that at the beginning. And I agree with plagiarism, and I agree with the concept. That's my point. That's what I want to do. Right? And I'm allowed to have perceptions that don't completely align with his intention. I am just saying there are points that he lays out that have holes in them. Because they do. And that's okay. That's the thing. And that's what I try. Like, I hate to say this, but sometimes some of you guys want me to, like, literally just gush about a video that you like, completely agree with everything, and that's it. But then what's constructive about that? There's no point of doing that. Then you could just watch his video and gush about it. That's the problem I'm having here. This is my perspective of the holes that present themselves. I'm not trying too hard. This is something that when I was watching it in real life with my friends, I was like, that's a weird take. I don't know if I agree with that. This is something I came in here with, something that I felt when I was watching it. And that's my problem. Oh, I know. I'm just speaking like this because I'm trying to be as clear as possible. Like as clear as humanly possible.
I got some replies from people who had clearly just seen her video and not seen mine, trying to defend her on the basis that she did put it in quotes, she just didn't cite the source correctly, and you can find it in the description. Some poor Illuminati fans out there think I'm mad at her for quoting some words slightly wrong, because they assume, in good faith, that the YouTuber they like wouldn't tell them an obvious lie. Sadly, Illuminati isn't a unique story. She's just the most prominent tip of the iceberg of content mill video essay
I'll
garbage.
explain. I'm sorry, one more time. I'll explain what my thought process is, okay? So, I understand the point of being critical of the amount of content people put out. Okay? I understand that. I think what some of this feels like is that it almost, because the thing when you start a channel, okay, is you need to grind the content out like crazy. Okay? When you start making content, you need to make a ton of content. Like, if I don't upload for a week, I literally will lose hundreds of dollars. Like, because it's something that your CPM is too low, your algorithm's too tricky, everything becomes an issue. Okay? So when you have someone who is already very popular and was on the platform when it's when some people come on the platform and they are already popular, like when they're making content, they're already popular, and they emerged on the platform when it was a lot less saturated. But I do honor this guy in particular because he was making leftist content in the prime of like this sort of Gamergate era, and I commend him for that. So he had a good niche and he was able to stick by it despite it being something that was pretty difficult to do well in at the time. Also, I don't think anybody's being combative, by the way. Like, I don't think that's the case. I just am getting, I guess, in a sense of a little tiny bit frustrated of the sense of like that some of you are saying that I'm just trying to be contrarian, because that's not what I'm doing. I'm allowed to have an opinion on it that you don't like, and it's not because I'm being contrarian. If I was being purposely contrarian, what I would have done is I would make the entire video about how much I hate his video. Literally, it was going to be chaptered as part 1, slight criticism. I literally have already written it. It said slight. Then it was going to be a section on Philip, and one section on Philip where I was going to go into Philip's old content myself, one section on Illuminati where I would go into her content myself, and one section on James Summerton where I would hopefully Wayback Machine some of his content. We'll see what happens. That's what I was going to do. Literally, that's it. That's what my thing is. Okay? It's what I don't care for is being accused of just trying to be doing things in bad faith, and that's an issue to me, I think, because that's not what I'm doing. And back to the content farms type stuff, it's that people have to do that at some point in order to actually be able to be in the place where they can make well-constructed videos. Because on one hand, in order to make, let's say, like, if I wanted a video that was like an editing masterpiece, I would either need to make enough money to take a class on how to edit, or be able to have enough time to just do editing on my own, right? Like, as in, like, I would need to be able to watch, like, have enough time to watch hours and hours of tutorials and all this stuff. And then, but that's a privilege of being able to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not popular enough where I can take the time to greatly improve my craft as it stands right now. In order to be able to have that leeway, which would mean either to hire somebody to take a class, to be able to take time off to figure things out, it's the issue of those gaps. And it's because this is something that a lot of other people will do too. I've seen it with, like, especially on discourse on, like, Twitter and stuff, this, like, concept about these, like, fast production videos, and that causes a problem when you kind of have to do that at one point to be popular. That's all. And what I feel like is it's easy to say that that's terrible and that's bad from the stance that he's in. That's all. Okay? Especially because he includes iNabber and Evangelina Scoff's videos who are not doing that type of content. And I just think that's a strange thing. Because it's different to comment on Boblox, who reads tweets for an entire video and that's it, versus like Eyenaber's Illuminati video was like 3 hours long and took 2 months to make. That's all. I'm also just reading. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on, obviously. So. That's what I'm referring to.
Most prominent tip of the iceberg of content mill video essay garbage. If you want to see these extremely poor practices in action, you need only watch the videos about Illuminati. You know, drama YouTube.
He said, okay, hold on. Listen to this line.
Isn't a unique story. She's just the most prominent tip of the iceberg of content mill video essay garbage. If you want to see these extremely poor practices in action, you need only watch the videos about Illuminati. You know, drama YouTube. The worst part of YouTube.
Koba says point of view, showing a picture of a man with a hatchet who I assume is H-Bomber guy, but I'm not too sure.
He's calling them drama YouTube the worst corner of YouTube. It's still just as bad. It's still really bad.
To be honest,
drama YouTube is its own sub-ecosystem of content mills, grinding out infinite buckets of
sub-ecosystem of content mills.
You need only watch the videos about Illuminati. You know, drama YouTube. The worst part of YouTube.
Koba says point of view, showing a picture of a man with a hatchet who I assume is H-Bomber guy, but I'm not too sure, to be honest.
Drama YouTube is its own sub-ecosystem of content mills, grinding out infinite buckets of slop about whatever's happening in that moment.
So I'm not gonna milk this anymore after this video, okay?
These people are so busy
and then
making
in the
videos,
sequence, he will have Eyenaber and Evangeline
They're
Scott.
finding the most popular tweets on the topic and hitting the record button.
Not enough that they steal ideas. They have to go out of their way to slander others' work for having the most banal similarities.
Yeah, that's right. Wait, banal? And in their most evolved form, they're not even doing that. They're watching other drama videos and making their own version. I've seen the compilation I made of Blair copying Dia in like 40 different places at this point, but what's really amazing about it is that it's now crossed the drama mill event horizon, so instead of being credited to me, it's credited to the other drama YouTubers the current drama YouTuber got it from. In this instance, the previous drama YouTuber's name isn't even spelled right. That's the level of research we're dealing with here.
I don't think it was a joke. No, I don't think it was a joke.
Really care about getting credit for a video I made in 5 seconds.
That sounded mean. I am agreeing. I'm saying that to you, like, just matter-of-factly. Sorry, that's my bad.
The point I was trying to make was that Dia is the guy who deserves the credit, but there's still an irony to it. I was trying to make a point about the importance of crediting people correctly, and now my Twitter video has human centipeded its way out of the annals of drama YouTubers into the mouths of second-order drama YouTubers who don't even know where it's from, but are ready to reheat and serve it. This is the lowest effort shit you can imagine. They can't even spell plagiarist right. Information itself deteriorates in the process of producing industrial quantities of content. The mask has fallen and the gears of the mill spin naked before us as they wheel and crunch all meaning to dust and Raid Shadow Legends sponsorships. Go to order.
I think I'm a little bit frustrated when a lot of people said you're not calling it right by saying a content mill, and he says mill 6 times in the same sentence when he's introducing this topic. Right?
.com/repent Harlequin to enter a coma and escape this madness. Anyway, thank you for taking the time to reply, Blair. I disagree. I don't think your new special definition of plagiarism with a loophole in it is plagiarism. I think plagiarism is plagiarism, and you are a plagiarist. But thank you for taking the time to respond. And good luck with all that other stuff. We should probably move on. Let's talk about some good videos. Remember my video about the Roblox oof? That one did pretty well, didn't it? There's a bunch of stuff I needed to do for a follow-up video, but then I got distracted by this. But I'll do that eventually. But I'm really happy with the reaction to it. A lot of people I deeply respect seem to enjoy it, and it was even Jack's Film's third favorite video of 2022, which for me is an incredibly high honor, far higher than all the real awards I didn't win. His second favorite video was Man in Cave by someone called Internet Historian, and that thing got like 10 million.
Starstruck, I think the generalization is wrong, but his criticism isn't. Yes. Yes. I agree. That's what I'm trying to say.
Views, so I'm not surprised. Personally, I'm not a big Internet Historian fan. Years ago, I saw a video of his about DashCon, a failed Tumblr convention, and it was really just a bunch of jokes about SJWs and how bad Tumblr is, and it was really disappointing. You know, he had the opportunity to talk about a really interesting moment in history, and he just used it to post cringe. But that video was eons ago, and I don't like to judge people by super old stuff they made, and a lot of people I really respect seem to like him, so I'm sure he's way better now. Anyway, let's finally watch Man in Cave and see what the hype is all about. No, I mean it. Pull up your phone, open up Man in Cave, and let's watch it together. No, just type Man in Cave. It's the top one. It's got 10 million views. Oh, you can't find it? It's not there? As of present recording, Man in Cave mysteriously disappeared months ago and has yet to reappear. What happened to Man in Cave? Oh.
Okay, so now we finished that part. Okay. Now, again, my issue is how he grouped people. Because let's say, and that's not a nitpick, that's a big part of his video. And I'm allowed to be annoyed about something that happened in the video. Okay? We go back to this. Don't look up how poorly I spelled Soot House. Da, 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 da. 2 hours, 10 minutes long. Okay?
Drama.
With a whole bunch of sections. With every part of it going through everything. Okay? Then we got this Bobby. Where you got 10 minutes and it's just Twitter. It's literally just a bunch of tweets. Okay?
Illuminati. Illuminati has
and this you have interlaced with the videos, the different actions that happen, Discord servers, Twitter, tons of different stuff, okay? And I think this and this are completely different things. You know what I mean? I understand the sequencing of the clips in order to just show that he, that his clip was used. I understand that. But at the same time, you can't go, content mills, worst content on the internet, worst thing ever, blah, 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 and then have those videos in it and then decide that you can negate that from his point, because that's nitpicking on a different end. That's nitpicking to save him. Again, though, you can't run around, be content lazy, and then play the video. That's the problem. You can't parallel it like that. That's my problem. That's my issue. And I think that's a fair issue.
That
and I
effect
think
has been around since before YouTube was even
I'm just getting annoyed because the thing is that my content's like this. And because what? Because I might have because what? If I clipped the video from this instead of from Twitter, then now now it's lazy? Like, that's the issue. You know? I'm happy that we're getting somewhere with this, because I was getting a bit frustrated with that, because it's like I said, this happened with I find sometimes this is a really common thing as like a content creator, but it's like, if I dislike something that happened with someone that I like and my audience likes, it's any criticism I have is in bad faith. If I'm at a point where I'm criticizing someone that I liked, it's because it's something that really bothered me. You know what I mean? Of course, well, we'll see even, because I think I didn't know who he was, right? I thought he was like a random Twitter account, because the thing is, when I did say I watched the Roblox video, which I did, I didn't know that was the same person. Because someone who would comment on Illuminati isn't really the same person who would make like kind of abstract video essays on Roblox, right? So let's see.
Blair has.
See, no, I took my sources from videos. I didn't take it from his Twitter. I didn't really know that's like where to find it or what was happening, because it's not a community that I was involved in the sense of like those people commenting. I knew who Illuminati was. I had interacted with her content. I knew who Illuminati was. And I knew who Tipster had a lot of issues with her. I knew who Tipster is. You know what I mean? Like, that's the other thing, right? Is there's this assumption that everyone knows everything about these like niche communities. H Bomber Guy was a big deal in 2016. You know what I was in? You know where I was in 2016? The 10th grade. In a town with 500 people and no internet. So no, I don't know who he is. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, and look, there's my those are APA citations of the books I was reading. Oh no, these are MLA because wait. Oh no, that's APA. Never mind. I lied. It's APA. I don't even know if I included the tweet. I think I just said it really, really briefly. Like, oh, this guy said something. But look, I do this. Like, see? I have it there. And I have a big screenshot of exactly what it is I'm playing from. Me reacting to it. This was on a stream with y'all, I think. Which got demonetized, LMAO. But there's this. Yeah, look, I have the tweet part. I have a Twitter part from iNabber's video. Well, actually, no, this was the showing of the effects. Mostly because I don't have any plugins on Vegas because I don't know where to find them. This is the thing, right? They all talk about how easy editing is and how you can just find plugins for everything, and I'm just sitting there like, I have no idea what y'all are talking about. I'm so anxious about getting plugins because so many of those websites are just virus mills. And again, I never studied media. I don't know how to edit. No one around me knows how to edit, so I just have no idea. So I wanted to take it from somebody who has an editor and like they know what they're talking about. So like I said, I'm just trying to see if I even used it. I don't know if I did. I think I just mentioned it in passing. There's the other video. Or I even structured it differently. I structured mine from her video at the end in context. So I don't even think I used the actual clip. I have a lot of voiceovers. In that statement, if I went out for you before iNabber makes another video, I am fully aware. Okay, so that's just her additional tweets and stuff. Yeah, I'll do the voiceovers if new stuff happened that I didn't see. See, I don't know what that means. Do you mean GitHub, by the way, or is it a G at the end? Yeah, if I find something out at the end, or later down the line, I will go back into my descriptions and add stuff. I usually will do that. I've done that a few times. Or let's say like I did the Matt Rife video. I went back to look for the links to the TikToks that I used, but then I couldn't find them anywhere. So I think they deleted them or something because I downloaded them onto my phone. Excuse me. Because sometimes, like, when someone does a TikTok where I'm like, I have a feeling they're going to get rid of this. I download it right away. And I screen record it right away. So sometimes the link, I can't find the link to it. I don't have it. So in this case, it was the TikToks. I could not find them. I looked for them again. I couldn't find them. But I always make sure that when I do have a TikTok that you can see the... Because there are websites where you can remove the watermark and stuff. I make sure that I have the ones that keep the watermarks. Because if I can't find the link again, I want them to at least know who it was. You know? Because some people make a point to, like, hide there. So. Here's the thing, too, though, right? Like, even if I got a plugin, I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I don't know if I know how to use it. Like, That's my problem. Yes, I know. I call people on TikTok sneaky deleters. Because it, like, always happens. Where people just nuke the videos they made, like, all the time. And it's very, very frustrating. So. I understand that the point of the video is plagiarism, but when you make 4 hours, there's going to be a lot of other points made. And I'm allowed to have an issue with other points made. You know, I don't know how many of you have taken a philosophy class, and I'm not, let me get to my point before anyone gets mad at me here. Hold on. I don't know if any of y'all have taken a philosophy class, but you'll be shocked at how many papers exist over one, like, sentence someone made in another paper. You know what I mean? Like, you can genuinely have criticisms over subpoints. And that doesn't make them not valid because the title of the video is something else. You know? Like, and I also study, like, rhetoric is a branch of philosophy, and then I did a minor in philosophy. So I'm used to that sort of way of looking at things, you know? And like I said, it's literally just, I can have an issue with the way that he structured that part. But it would be a slippery slope if I said, because he said some drama content is bad, therefore he thinks anything ever made of drama content is bad, and therefore all of it is, like, Illuminati plagiarized content. That would be a slippery slope, I think. And I think, I can't read the name anymore. Used to be the name of the noodles. Me Gorgon or whatever. But you say video essayists are riding a high horse. Yes. So that's what I'm saying, though. It's like, I just got a bit of that vibe of, like, oh, well, I can make this really great content. So, and I can still talk about drama while making this super great content. So why can't everybody else do that? That's what it feels like. And because when you're pulling people who do make more intricate content in with the same group as the mill of horrible content that you went on and on about, that's when you get an issue. And that's when I have an issue. You know? That's what I'm saying. Because when you're on, I think the thing is too, is you guys see it from the standpoint of a viewer, right? As opposed to me as a standpoint of someone who makes content. And it's like, because I've also, like, sometimes, like, you'll watch videos, right? Let's say, and somebody will say, like, oh, well, you know, their camera quality is bad or something, or their mic's bad or whatever. It's like, do you know how expensive it is to make even subpar looking videos? Like, this camera was $1,200. This was $100. This was $30, like the arm that's on it. This was $20. The video editor I got for $200 or like $150, but Sony Vegas Pro full price is $700. The PC that I have to run this, I paid $3,000 for, because the one I had that was $2,000 wasn't good enough. Right? It's like, just to have, like, decent looking videos is incredibly expensive and time consuming. No, so that's the thing, right? Is like, in my video, my section was going to be like 5 minutes. of me being like, I think it's just a bit weird that it's grouped that way. The reason why it's dragged so long into the stream is because people started turning it into like a moral failing of mine for disagreeing with him, and that's not fair to me. And like I said, like this concept of me just being purposefully contrarian, which isn't true. And that's all. But yeah, everything is expensive. Yeah, I have a mirrorless camera, but I have literally like the cheapest mirrorless camera that you can own, while it's still actually mirrorless. I wanted one that I could change the lenses on and everything. So. Oh, your enchiladas are ready. Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing, right? Is I come from I think that's another thing that I think people need to like contextualize a little bit in my criticisms. I think it's so difficult when you're trying to like get started and then there's always these, because this happens a lot. There's like these huge YouTubers that are like, your content is made poorly. Your content doesn't look good. Your content's edited not nicely. Your content is not as good as mine. It's like, I'm not able to do that. Like for me personally, right? Like I came from, and I know, in my own personal opinion, should be integrated into my video because that's what makes it mine, right? And it's like, I came from poverty, and I came from, like, when I was making the videos, here, I'll show y'all, because a lot of you I've never seen, like, my really, really early content. If I can get this cut crease to work. I'm so bad at doing cut creases, it's literally comical. Anyway. Let's do...
Hi everyone, it's me again. Squitch Gang is president of...
Do we see how busted that looks? I'm filming in front of a window in my one of 4 bedrooms university student accommodation apartment. The microphone is too far because I can't sit any closer to the desk because it's actually just a set of drawers. And
of course.
And that's filmed on the front camera of my iPhone 11. Okay. Like, and it gets really frustrating when it just starts feeling like people are content farming, or not farming, oh my god, sorry, he said content farm so many times. Like, almost like pocket watching. Yeah, to that day, the lighting's nice because there's a big window and it was overcast, so the lighting was good that day. That really depended on the day, though. That wasn't something that was always the case. The issue with how this office is set up is I can't have the window behind the camera because there's a set of drilled in drawers. It's okay, but it's blurry.
That regarding anybody,
like,
even with this,
I think the thing that you guys don't realize is, like, I might be blurry because my OBS is mean to me, and the streams always come in looking weird. But if you actually look at this, it's blurry in real life. So, bye, Mega Chad and blah, 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 blah. Goodbye, Mega Chad Anakin. Anyway, I am really happy that we came to an understanding of what I meant. But I'm just saying, for future reference, a little bit, don't go on and say that I'm wrong and I haven't watched it when I've watched it twice, and then I can play back the part that I'm referring to exactly. You know? So, that's my ting here. But yeah, it's like these older videos are like, look at this one. This one's really bad.
You ever?
I'm filming it but again, my window's over there, and I can't. So I'm filming with a lamp in my face. It's the only way my camera focuses. And this was filmed on the front camera of my iPhone 8 Plus. Hold on. I put a lot of clips into this one. Look, my lamps made it out of focus. That's what my videos look like. There's a lot of videos like this that are privated that you haven't seen. Because they were like more personal videos and I didn't want to get in trouble, you know? But like I said, some days when it's sunny, it looked good. But there were other days where it did not look good.
Hi everyone, it's me again. Right. So people that were
Oh my god, when I tried to put music in, good god. Bad era. Anyway. I think people who got more peeved already left. Yeah. Which I don't mind, really. All I'm saying is that, like, it was something that... See, this video got, like, no views, but I was so based in this one. This is me criticizing the same people that he was criticizing. Actually. So we're researching, like, the H-Bomber guy stuff, but I'm going in and I'm trying to build my, like, opinions here. No, what I'm saying is that when people start commenting on the quality of videos, as far as, like, how often they're put out or whatever, it starts to build this kind of, like, contention between everything. That's all. I just wanted to kind of talk about, like, the perception that you can have when you get a little bit, Oh my god, my dog is snoring so loud. You know you can't hear it. But yeah, even here, right? Which I might include in the video when I'm talking a little bit about my disagreements. Good god. This is me criticizing the exact same people as he's criticizing. H-Bomber guy didn't talk about, like, cameras specifically or anything, but the thing is that you're missing a lot of context if you just came in. So, I kind of want to build, like, I'm trying to build, like, how I'm gonna kind of put in this point, because clearly it's also way more contentious than I thought it was. I didn't really realize me being critical about the content mill part was going to be such a point of contention with everybody. So. Oh, I need to go back to the part I actually need to watch. We're there.
But people began to notice these sections were suspiciously similar to one another YouTuber had already made. Alexander Avila, whose channel used to be called Are They Gay, has a series of videos exploring the queer implications between characters in various shows, and he's covered Merlin, Teen Wolf, and Sherlock. The part of Summerton's video covering Merlin feels like he watched Avila's video and very slightly rephrased it, but what made it really obvious was the footage he used. They weren't just similar, they were exactly the same. Avila had this one part where he fades between several different scenes across different episodes to show the evolving character dynamics. This is Avila using editing and his knowledge of the show to make a point. That same sequence appears exactly in Summerton's video. Avila's video puts text over the footage to explain the character's thoughts and justify his interpretation of the show. This text is still in there in Summerton's version. This is sloppy even by James standards. He even keeps in a joke Avila made.
If I wasn't a prince, what? I think we'd probably get on.
In case it wasn't obvious, Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On.
The thing is, it is a small part of the video, but it's still like 15 minutes. Which is like an entire video for some people. You know? And I think the thing is too, I'm in a position now where I'm feeling extremely discouraged about making this video in general. I don't even know if I'm going to do it anymore because I'm just kind of like, I don't know, whatever.
Wasn't in the original show. Avila put that in there for a joke. And you're not going to believe this.
Probably get on.
Summerton stole Alexander Avila's video essay and reused it, and just recorded his own very similar version of the voiceover and jokes.
It really is like a romantic comedy.
Oh, come on, you've seen a romantic comedy, you know how this works.
This is the worst and laziest example of plagiarism I've ever seen. Reusing other people's work like this is not right, especially when, you know, you make a living making these videos. He only said things about the show Avila also said. It's extremely clear Summerton hasn't seen Merlin, he just reused Avila's work. The other sections covering Teen Wolf and Sherlock also had extremely similar looking sequences. He'd downloaded and reused several of Avila's videos. When this was discovered, Avila tweeted to Summerton about it, asking for proper credit and in the future to ask people permission before doing something like this. He also left a similar comment.
Oh no, I don't know how this came into be, if that's a what's the term I'm looking for? If that's even something that you could have conflated, but I do not think this guy and ContraPoints and Boblocks are in even remotely the same part of anything. So the research is for, I was gonna make an H-Bomber guy video. I was gonna do the rhetoric of then just the title of the video. Because there are some points I really agree with. For example, when he talks about plagiarism and how the way that they would do it is that they would steal things from small channels. I relate to that heavily because I had an entire video yoinked when I had 1,500 subs. So there are so many points in the video that I like. I think a lot of people think that like I'm only going to be critical because it's taken a long part of the stream, but it's because I'm a bit disappointed that my perceptions can be taken as disingenuous so quickly when I feel like I've built a really long time trying to not do that part. The only part I don't agree with is his when he talks about drama videos. And he says that like the way that they get information and stuff gets really lost, and it's like the lowest form of content on the internet. And then he plays a sequence that has like Boblocks and Internet Historian, but then he also has like iNabber and Vangelina Skov, which are not the same kind of content. Which that doesn't make sense to me. Because the thing is, when you start grouping in people like that, you end up with the whole community, like the commentary community, which they often won't let women be a part of. So even putting Vangelina in there becomes a bit of an issue as far as the intersectional kind of discourse around like female creators and things like that, which I don't think is what he's doing. But people with less generous perceptions could take it that way. But, well, because, so me going off the rip, I'm going to be honest, I didn't think it was confusing at first. So, that's kind of like where I'm at. But then there's like, yeah, there are a lot of H-Bomber guy videos, like H-Bomber guy is wrong stuff, but they're doing it because of like, liberals. You know what I'm saying? Like that he's a soy boy or whatever, right? Because even if you look at the beginning with the Philip guy, he talks about like estrogen and stuff like that, which was very strange.
On the video, which finally got James's attention. The next day, Summerton set unrequited to private and contacted Avila on Twitter. I reached out to Avila and asked him what they discussed, and he gave me permission to share these messages with you. Summerton apologized for using his material without asking, claiming he intended to reach out but forgot to, and he had been in a rush to finish the video before the end of Pride Month, and in this rush he ended up using a lot more of your content than I ever intended. He then offered to credit Avila in the description of his video. Ah yes, that old trick. He also, perplexingly, asked Avila to delete his comment because he put an awful lot of work into his videos and felt discredited by it, which, frankly, is a wild thing to say to someone someone you just admitted you stole from. You're not the one putting the work in, buddy. Avila said he would rather Summerton upload a new version that credited him in it directly, or perhaps he could watch Merlin and make his own arguments. He also reminded him that passing someone else's work off as their own is far more discrediting than pointing out someone did that. Summerton never replied. So he admitted he plagiarized Avila's work, but he had an explanation. He was too busy. Too busy doing what? You don't do anything! The video was never unprivated. Instead, a few days later, it was re-uploaded with pieces missing, of course. This re-upload was also in 3 parts, saying the video had been edited to remove content owned by other parties. The re-uploads also say which part of 3 they are, except for part 3, which is also called part 2. Summerton had put in about as much work as you'd expect from someone who copies for a living. In the new—
Here's the other thing. I think you should be able to have criticisms of a video in a vacuum, which I do. And I think that's not really an issue, because a lot of people watch only that particular video a lot of the time, you know?
new version, the Merlin section was completely removed. However, this was the only change, so later parts of the video still refer back to it.
Much like with Merlin, the pair start the series off on a bad paw.
The Teen Wolf and Sherlock sections were kept the same, so all the video sequences he got from Avila for those parts were still in there.
Bessie, I'm sorry. If you have Eli, Ellie, whatever, if you have such a problem, like, I'm sorry, watch something else, because this is starting to get a little bit ridiculous.
Accidentally use any obvious parts where Avila's text or jokes came up, so I guess he decided it was fine to keep it in. The way James treated Alexander, stealing several of his videos, then when caught offering to hide a credit in the description like that would change what he'd done, and then re-uploading the video with half the stuff he stole still in it, is a clear indicator how little he thinks of his fellow queer creators. He does not care about doing right by other people in his community. He cares about making money, by any means necessary. What makes this even clearer is how publicly he does not admit fault or even pretend he learned anything. To this day, he lies about what happened. When the plagiarism allegations came up on that livestream, he made up a completely new story that contradicts the apology he gave to Alexander. He claims he downloaded a highlight reel of Merlin clips from somewhere else, and that highlight reel stole from Avila's video, so technically he didn't steal from him and it was all just a misunderstanding.
In the original History of Queer Coding video, I used a highlight reel from
Spill or Anna Oop, yes. That's like a big part of it too. Actually, Ivory, when I was trying to remember the names of the channels and I was trying to think of ones, that's what I was trying to remember. I was like, there's a little blue-haired lady that's cartoon. I couldn't remember them in my head, but that's exactly who I was thinking about. Was those like weird like cartoon, you know, videos or whatever.
The show Arthur that another YouTuber had used, and I thought it was just a highlight video, but apparently it actually came from another video from the channel Are They Gay?
He repeats and refines this story throughout the stream.
And there was one where I took a highlight reel in 2020 from a highlight video that happened to be from a video from a YouTube channel.
The only problem with this story is
user not found. 100. That's what I'm gonna do. That was already the plan.
Receipts.
And I took a highlight reel to highlight the queerness in the Arthur show, Merlin show, and it was pointed out to me that that didn't come from a highlight reel, that came from an actual video, and it had been stolen from that video for the highlight reel that I took it from. Nick co-writes my videos. There is no plagiarism. There was, as I said, and I will say one more time, a highlight reel from the show Merlin that I took from a larger highlight reel video that was apparently sourced from a video from the channel Are They Gay?
James admitted directly to Avila that he took from his work on purpose, although he intended to steal less. How considerate of him. James is lying directly to his audience to protect his reputation. He can't even own up to his behavior. He just keeps lying, and he didn't even stop stealing. A little while after the stream where the allegations came up, he made a post on Patreon to try to explain the allegations for people still asking about them. You have to be a patron to see it, so avert your eyes if you're not giving James money. In addition to repeating the lie, he got permission from Sean Griffin to adapt Tinkerbells and Evil Queens before making the video. He again states he got the clips from a highlight reel which got them from Are They Gay? Left to his own devices, James will just make up what happened. And since his paying customers haven't seen the evidence of him admitting he did it, they have no option but to assume it's true. James did this on purpose with multiple videos and is lying to his backers so they continue to support him financially. James, you've been to business school. You know there's a word for that. And even if I hadn't reached out to Avila and got that woefully hilarious confession, I could still have objectively proven he did it. There's one last missing piece of the puzzle here. Ignoring for a second he admitted to Avila he took from more than one video, ever since he's always pretended it was
yes,
just
I can turn
Merlin.
captions on. Sorry, I always forget. I don't stream.
I could somehow prove he also used Avila's other videos for those sections, that would show the extent of the copying and how much he's lying to cover it up. But like I said, the Teen Wolf and Sherlock sections aren't as obvious. He doesn't steal any jokes, he just very boringly spouts arguments similar to Avila's while playing what looks like the same footage. It's harder to prove he downloaded his video to make this, which is probably why he feels comfortable pretending he didn't. I was thinking of watching both videos closely side by side and contrasting the clips to show they're all the same, wasting even more of my precious life watching Sherlock than I already have, but then I was reading James's tweets from when he was making this, and I saw that he posted a picture of him editing this video with his timeline.
The criticisms of the drama thing is gonna be like 5 minutes. Please. Trust me. There's so much more to it.
Invisible. Forgive me, but the opportunity to do something like this comes once in a lifetime. Jimmy, if you're somehow still watching, I need you to understand just how bad a liar you are. Just how obviously awful and deceitful you look to anyone who's paying attention. Before you'd even uploaded the video, you posted a picture of the Sherlock section of your timeline, and the source footage is clearly labeled, "Are they gay?" You had proven you plagiarized Avila before the video was even done. Also, delete your channel. Let's get a big picture look at how much stealing James has done. As of making this motion graphic, there are 56 video essays on his YouTube channel dated after October 2018. A minimum of 22 contains some amount of plagiarized material. He also has 2 essays exclusively to his Vimeo page. According to him, YouTube flagged them not safe for work. These have a ton of plagiarism in them too. Several videos were taken down and then re-uploaded with parts removed, like Attack on Titan and a few others. I don't know how I should account for re-uploads on this list, but we should at least include videos which were deleted and never came back, like Codebreakers, and hey, welcome back Unrequited. He took that re-upload down too at some point. I wonder why. And let me be clear, this is just the plagiarism we know of. We could have easily missed the stuff in the other videos, or there could be more deleted ones we don't even know about. That's a minimum of 26 videos that steal.
That's the thing too, right? With covering like plagiarism is it's so difficult, right? Because which is like another plus from his video and something that I would commend, right?
Stuff. Like James said, there's not 3 or 4 examples.
Sorry. Is oh my god, I lost my train of thought because I hit the space bar. Are you kidding me? Come on. Think. Yes, the thing with plagiarism is you only need to, or like in order to figure out that it's plagiarized a lot of the time, you need to know the work that's there. Does that make sense? Like if I plagiarize, let's say like one of my rhetoric essays, I doubt most of you would find out or notice because it's something that's so niche that like it's something that becomes it's really clear you agree with the vast majority of it and that your critique is an act of appreciation. Yes, exactly. Oh my god. Somebody getting it is so nice. Especially with how this started, because I was like, girl, I'm gonna leave this stream. Like, I'm so done. Yeah, it's, but like I said, so it's like with plagiarism, right? You need to be able to find the original, the original work, right? And I could tell what he's doing is he was just taking certain lines and just kept running them through, like, Google, like specific sentences, because that will pull up articles a lot of the time. And I think that if, let's say like the ones that aren't plagiarized, if he moved the structures around a lot, then he would, like, let's say if James moved the structures of the sentences around a lot, you wouldn't be able to find it from just pulling the sentences. And if Harris was not already completely aware of the content, he wouldn't really notice. So, I think that's the other thing too, right? Yeah, he kind of skimmed over like reaction content streamers, but then was more mad at people who do change the content at least a bit instead of just yoinking it. I think that was also a bit of a strange parallel because I would say like reaction stream is way more content farmy than even Illuminati. But Illuminati's content farmy, don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. Okay? But, you know,
of 26 videos that steal stuff. Like James said, there's not 3 or 4 examples, there's hours of examples, an entire channel's worth of examples. This isn't a one-off mistake or a misunderstanding or a citation error. This is a pattern with no sign of stopping. There's no fixing this, and there's no undoing the damage he's done, directly and indirectly, by using so many people's work.
Yes, Harris is his name. Yes, we found it. Well, someone mentioned it, but I also found it out from Wikipedia.
Credit for money. A lot of people have been burned by James, not just in terms of having their writing or videos stolen, one even giving him money to find out he was stealing from them, but on a basic level, liking someone's work and funding them, only to realize you're funding plagiarism, is humiliating. James has become one of the biggest LGBT YouTubers in the room, essentially absorbing all the support and attention that would have otherwise gone to people who actually do work.
The H is probably
Other
Harris,
video
if I was to
essayists
guess.
have to come up with their own opinions and actually write them. They can't compete on volume with a guy who's willing to rip off dozens and dozens of other people. Many of the people he's copied were paid very little, and in some cases not at all, for their original material when they wrote it. They were hoping their writing would be recognized and result in future work and more of a career. And in a way, their good work was recognized, but only by James. How much recognition do you think they got when James read their words without crediting them? And on the other hand, how much money has James made from them? How much money has he made in fundraising to start a film studio on the back of this career he got from them?
That's true.
While making no films.
That's true.
Gay writers are already poorly recognized for their...
It's just, like... Well, because plagiarism in the academic sense, if you just, like, essentially reposted someone's essay, that's plagiarism still. You know? I don't know. Unless you constructed it as a review. Oh, I'm doing a research stream on him. So once in a while, I like to cover a video that I agree with. You know? Like, when I haven't done it in a really long time. It was like last spring I covered, Ryan Beard's video on Trisha Paytas. So it's like, I wanted to do another one where I could comment on something that I genuinely agree with and why it's agreeable, you know? Make sense? Has academia dealt with the definition of plagiarism in reference to videos? Excuse me. I don't know. I've tried to look into like academic articles around like more niche internet ends and commentary in that process, and I never really find anything. So, like, you can get stuff from other content creators, like someone's mentioning Legal Eagle's reaction video stuff, but I don't find it when I look through like library proxies and stuff, but maybe they're just like not that good, you know? There might be something from some university, but I never really find anything, which is what I wanted to do my PhD on, but people keep saying they don't want to work with that, so I don't know what I'm going to do.
Their work and contributions. It's a common problem. James should know about this in Code Breakers or Queering Cinema or whatever it'll be called next time.
Also, I know
James
Manny's
has
a predator
surprisingly
protector,
eloquent
but this
section about how
palette
gay
bangs.
people keep going missing from history
But I got it
and
from
being
Winners.
forgotten.
So.
This part was stolen too.
So as we start out on our lifelong personal journeys, how do we discover our queer identity if we don't know much about those who came before us?
Stephen Spinks's column is extremely moving to read and genuinely important. And no one watching James's video had the chance to learn his name. James made a lot of money repeatedly re-uploading a video about the erasure of queer people.
Why is my...
And he did it by erasing queer people. I guess when he renamed it Queering Cinema by any means necessary, he meant it. Every re-upload, the credits get longer. The list of people he's conned grows. The works he's stealing from aren't doing quite so well. This column was written in 2019 for Midlands Zone magazine, the UK's biggest regional gay publication.
Y'all, don't even get me started on the academia being behind on it. I keep getting nobody answering my emails. It's sad.
Due to the impact of the pandemic, Midlands Zone ceased production in 2020. This year, their official site went down, along with its archive of articles like this one. Googling the words James stole now gets you no results. I only found this plagiarism because I noticed it before the website fell off the internet. Good writing about queer living is hard to find, and easy to lose. And in obscurity, it becomes even easier to pretend it was yours. None of the money he makes will go to the people who wrote the great lines his viewers enjoyed. They get to rot in the very obscurity he pretends to criticize, while James takes all the oxygen for himself to promote only himself and position himself as a crusader for real representation, while giving a speech he
Media
stole.
studies and library studies have addressed it. Okay. Really? Okay. If you know where to find it, please let me know. Because, like, the McGill and Waterloo Library things don't have anything on it that I could find anyway. And I've even checked like illicit.org, like the AI that leads you to actual real papers. And I've had trouble finding it.
How gay people keep going missing from the story. I wonder how that happened.
It provokes a deep and meaningful question, I think. What is the real, tangible impact of gay erasure?
There is something a little bit soul-crushing about watching a man be paid thousands and thousands of dollars to literally plagiarize the phrase, "What is the real, tangible impact of gay erasure?"
Oh, jeez.
This is the impact. I don't know what I'm supposed to do about this. I don't even know if I should be making this video. I was just trying to double-check 2 or 3 old plagiarism accusations, and I ended up finding a whole bunch more, and I have functionally made a drama video about some guy. And worse, if this video goes up and is monetized and gets views, I have been paid, financially rewarded for making this. I don't find that acceptable. Especially not when the story is really about people who were never compensated for their work being stolen. So to make sure I have no financial incentive to make a video like this again, I'm going to be dividing any of the ad revenue this video makes among the creators James stole from. I'll be conducting a thorough examination of every video James has posted, including the many he has deleted I can find archives of, and contact everyone I can. At least the stuff he got from that weird right-wing guy isn't in the video, so he technically wasn't stolen from and doesn't need to be paid. You dodged a bullet for me there, James. It also occurs to me now that I will have to make a substantial donation to Wikipedia. Something that really got to me researching this video was watching James pitch himself.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave the criticism part till the end. Like, I'll have like a little 5 minutes at the end, you know, so I don't get like bombarded. I think that's what I'm going to do.
As the queer creator to support. Making YouTube queerer entails giving him and his movie studio your money, and not the other talented people who have a fraction of his support. He extremely rarely recommends or speaks positively of any other creators, as if to him fellow members of his community are competitors. He acts like no one else is talking about
What Nick are we talking about? Are you talking about Diorio? What's going on here?
Issues, and no one else sees things his way, even though he stole those observations, so obviously people do. The trickle-down effect of this behavior is a little upsetting. From the look of his comment sections, his devout fans believe him when he says there's no one else doing what he does. It's a manipulative strategy. Some young queer people feel underrepresented because the main guy they watch says they are, and that sucks to see happen. So I want to recommend some of my favorite queer creators in case James fans who made it this far need to know someone else they could watch and support. Matt Baum is a brilliant creator who, to put it bluntly, is the platonic ideal of what if James Summerton was good? His videos are entertaining but also well-researched. He doesn't need to steal from books to discuss the evil queens of the Disney canon. He writes his own books because he actually does his own work. His video about Disney villains is a favorite of mine and a palate cleanser after watching someone reconstitute other people's observations into smug hamburger. Khadija Mbawe's ability to be energetic and funny when handling sensitive topics is incredibly refreshing and instantly makes the conversation at hand so much more useful. The video about the politics of coming out, the evolution of the concept,
Nick, the writer of James Summerton. Okay,
sorry. It's come to me.
I thought you guys were talking about Diorio because you're talking about Bo Blacks, and like they're kind of in the same. They're in the same like whatever group, for lack of a better term. So
in modern culture is great. Give it a shot. Lady Emily's videos are all made for me, but the one about Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy explores the history of 2 of DC canon's most important characters and why they make such an engaging couple in stories. I recommend it, especially if you've not seen any of the good stuff coming out of DC lately, which does exist, like Teen Titans Go. Or the Snyder Cut. Shanspia covers a broad range of issues from AI to Lolita, but their video about true crime is a great tour of our species' long-term morbid fascination with gruesome stories. Shanspia asks, why are we fascinated with true crime? With real curiosity rather than judgment. They don't even make up any white women to get mad at. Amazing! Ricky Hirsch has made a ton of videos about media and gender.
Here's my dissection on the Nick is not green situation. Okay. He didn't like Super Mega, probably because of something that happened in his actual life. Then he went in way too hard when it involved Lex, got super lost in the sauce with the insults and whatever the other stuff that he brought in. Then he doubled down nonstop because he's too sensitive about his content. And now everyone in the YouTube community is trying to loop in people that are even remotely kind of involved with him slightly. That's how I got it. Because I don't, so like, I really liked Nick's content before. I was involved with a lot of his peers and things like that. I knew them. I made videos with them. He would never acknowledge me for some reason publicly, except like a couple mentions in live streams, but he would never follow me back or anything like that. Despite the fact that, like, other people did, which I thought was really strange. I'm friends with his brother too, so I thought that was kind of weird. So there's some gripe, I guess, maybe. And if we're talking about involved with him, I'm talking like Ethan's online. Well, Ethan is because of Lex, because they're dating, but also like Noah Sampson and Ryan, and to a certain degree, even people like Anne Marie Forcino, myself. But I left Nick's Discord. I left the Twitter community. I haven't watched one of his videos in months. His content got a bit lazy. And this sort of stubbornness that he's developed is a bit weird. And I'm not into it anymore. So that's where I'm at with that, I think. Not really, like, I'm not as on the, like, hate train as everybody else, because I'm kind of just, like, it is what it is, to a certain degree, and I think you can mess up, but you have to, like, rectify it, you know? Like, for me, if I've ever had a video that, like, I don't stand by anymore, I private it, or I put it to, like, members only or something, and then I'll address it briefly in the following video. So, Nick turned into a content farm, realistically. Like, the Green is Not Nick channel is daily uploads of him reading things or watching TikToks with on screen. So, but it is what it is. It's for me, I grew apart from the content. Nick Duramy, on the other hand, is epic and slay. And we follow each other, and I even text him when it's his birthday. I want to be on Nick's channel again. That was really epic. Maybe I'll text him and be like, hey, girly, let's make another video. Because I love him. He's so sweet. Anyway.
Over the years. Kat only found her by searching queer horror on YouTube and scrolling down for several minutes to see what was buried under the huge pile of James Summerton and X and Y being gay for Z minutes straight. I recommend her recent one about body horror, which explored gender's role in it in a way that made me say out loud, oh right, yeah, it's good, give it a shot. I just found out about Verity Richie and their channel, Verily Bitchy, good one, but their videos with the help of co-writer Ada are really entertaining. I should recommend the video about the lesbian gays just to offset all the baggage I had to experience making this, but the one about Doctor Who and women is great and also deals with gayness, so it counts. And after all this, I'd be amiss not to recommend Alexander Avila, whose latest videos have been real bangers. The type of content he makes has evolved in the last year or so, from funny queer-oriented media analysis to funny queer-oriented life analysis. TikTok Gave Me Autism is really good, and I'd plagiarize it if I could get away with it at this point. There's a ton more queer creators out there covering the topics James pretends to, and they manage to do it with their own words, even without his massive budget. Linked in the description is a playlist with the...
Do I know any of these? Oh, there's Nick. Queen. Wait, you can't see because I'm in the way. Queen and icon of my life. Queen. Thing is I'm not super into queer discourse. Not that I'm not into it, rather, but I don't watch it. Like I said, it doesn't come up for me a lot. Mostly because a lot of what they do, for me personally, tends to be, or what I see anyway, is like media analysis type stuff. And I'm just not into like traditional media that much. That's actually my only issue. People ask me why I don't watch these people. And it's literally like just because they comment on like Disney and I don't like Disney stuff. Really. That's like as deep as it goes for me.
And more video essays on queer media or history or politics or philosophy.
Like Jessie Gender and stuff I'll watch, and I'll watch ContraPoints, and I'll watch was it Callum? I watch all the trans creators anyway. I'll have to look at their names because all of a sudden I'm losing them, but give me a minute.
Philosophy or queer anything really, from creators you should consider giving a look if you haven't. It's been reassuring putting this part of the video together and getting to fully realize there's plenty of us out there, and most of them are very cool. James was the exception to a group of entertaining, thoughtful, and kind human beings. I'm proud of us. Yeah, I guess that's the word, isn't it? Anyway, let's try to pull a rabbit out of this bloody mess of a hat. I'm gonna put my wall back up and try to come to a wider conclusion about plagiarism real quick. One sec. Rachel, you haven't even held the camera. Can you help me with this at least? That's right, she's real. You don't know me. To me, to you. It's on. Thanks for that. We've talked a lot today about what plagiarism is, but we should also talk a little bit about
what I'm saying is like the things that I watch comment on other YouTubers primarily. That's what I like.
Isn't. It's completely fine to be inspired by someone or build on ideas you got from somewhere else, especially if you're open about it. Famous big boy YouTuber Ludwig has a thing he calls the yoink and twist, where he gets ideas from existing videos and openly broadcasts he's doing his own spin on it. In his video about that one guy copying the Capitol Hotel video, he happily says where he got the stuff he drew on for his own work.
This is me trying silly chess ideas, and look at all the tweets beside me with your ideas suck. Genius thumbnail. I got it from Fundy. I got it from Fundy. I made your dumb ideas in Minecraft, and then he has a bunch of tweets next to him.
It's hard for anyone to feel ripped off when he's open about where he got the ideas. I'm old enough now that when I was yay high, I was here for the first time this conversation happened on YouTube. It's easy to get rose-tinted about the early days, the 240p wiki wild.
When I... Oh, bye, Woogie. When I... So let's say I watch a video, right? And then I'm like, oh my god, this is a good idea. I will DM the person. And they usually answer. So, here, I'll give you an example. So, I made the video. Are you gonna... I have 3 gigabit internet. You're not telling me my Instagram DMs aren't gonna load? Good god. Anyway. I'm trying to go up, girl. Okay, here we go. So, here's my DMs with Megan Ann. Okay, because when I was making when I watched her Marissa Matthews returns video, I was like, oh my god, I need to make a rhetoric of this person because there's a very particular way that she delivers her content that I want to comment on because I've seen this before, but this is like those instances on steroids, right? So I literally said, I know it might be hard to read because of like it being a screen, but I say, Megan, I need your permission. And then I said, I want to make a rhetoric of Marissa Matthews video, but your video gave me the in the inspo. If it's too soon, I understand. And she went, go for it. And then when I made my Airbnb TikTok video with Noah Sampson, that actually started because I DM'd him because he made a landlord TikTok video and I thought that was too similar. So I asked him first. I've made a Jubilee video and it flopped so bad that I'm like, I kind of don't want to do it again. But so the thing is that some people might, well, I might not do it on video like that. I always actually ask them like more directly, if that makes sense.
Wild West before anyone had sponsorships or even qualified for ad revenue. There was no money in it, so people just made what they liked making. Things were better, more original then. This was never the case. There wasn't capital, but there was social capital, and that spends almost as good. The AVGN, one of the subjects of this video, had dozens of knockoffs vying for his spot. The Irate Gamer, the Game Dude, the Sega Kid, Urinating Tree, Armake21, Acoustic Rocker, Undercover Filmer, the Pissed Off Angry Gamer Man.
Nintendo Shit Cube.
Even before there was any money in it, we were drowning in people competing to be the guy calling NES Batman a shitload of fuck. But even back then, you could draw a line between people who cynically want to be the guy, and people who wanted to be themselves, but inspired and informed by ideas they liked. Second-generation critics, like the Spoony one, are open about drawing inspiration from...
The Jubilee video? No, it's members only because it flopped so hard. And, okay, here, I should explain that to y'all, actually, because I think that would just be nice. When you make a video and it flops really, really badly, and then it messes up what your overall numbers look like, sponsors won't entertain your content. And that can cause a lot of problems for you down the line if you need brand deals. And the thing is that in order to take off and make better content, I need money. So I had I'll put it back up though, because it's so far down now that I don't think it's really a big deal that if it's up. Where is it? I'll do it right now. Hold on. How do I do this again? I do it on Studio. Okay, give me a second. I'll put the Jubilee video up right now, and I'll even drop the link in the comments, or in the chat for you guys.
One of the better angry reviewers. And how many people claim inspiration from Spoony One today? too many. Stop Skeletons from Fighting, who unlike everyone I just mentioned is still around today because he developed his own new ideas, started out by taking inspiration from all these people and then deliberately doing the opposite, with the happy video game nerd being positive about games he liked. Now that's a yoinkin' twist. YouTube is a beautiful cesspool of inspiration, remixing, riffing, parody. Drawing on existing ideas is a great way of making something new and unique. It's only wrong when you add nothing and try to pretend it was yours in the first place. And you don't have to cite your sources like a rocket scientist either. Sonic Law YouTuber Cybershell frequently uses information and images he got from websites like the Cutting Room Floor and just explains where he's getting it from and often asks permission to use it. A coward would hide their source in a paste bin and not mention it anywhere else, but his videos are great because he shows you where you could learn more, and maybe even makes fun of you for not reading the website yourself in the first place, while explaining the topic in his own way. This is why Cat is forcing me to tell you his Chow video is objectively the best thing on YouTube. Thanks a lot, Cat. Fittingly, when Cybershell inspires someone, they're equally open about it. When one of his videos led...
The video's not that good, by the way. The Jubilee video, I tried to react like a Anna Marie Forcino reacts to Jubilee because that style's a lot more digestible for people, but I just can't do it like that. So, thank you, Cal, for joining the Squish Gang. I'm going to find the In a Book House sound because I want to start playing that. I just didn't expect anyone to join after the rough beginning of the stream.
She's scamming! Charlie tweeted out, I can't think about anything but having wings right now. Fake Doolittle responded by saying, I can't think about anything but the millions you made off my photos. She made millions.
I need to
off
find
his
where it is
photos?
on the thing.
What? Big Doodle tweeted out, for proof context, showing that he used to take pictures.
Here we go. Thank you for joining Squish Gang.
He used to take pictures of Charlie D'Amelio for her Instagram. Oh, okay. And it was used in a book, huh? Big Doodle.
There you go. That's like my favorite, like, internet sound.
Led Alan Pan to invent a device to steal soda from Universal Studios. He tells you right at the start he found out about the original from Cybershell's video. This is the community spirit I love to see on this website. It's kind of beautiful watching a wider story unfold. One generation of Baja Blast thieves passing on their designs to the next. If you're honest about it, there's not even anything wrong with adapting a book or telling people what you found on Wikipedia. Different people like getting information in different ways. Wikipedia lets people record and upload readings of pages so you can learn about Bhutanese passports through audio, and they do it for a reason. Some people might even prefer a video version. It would practically be an accessibility feature. Making video adaptations of interesting books or mental floss articles is an idea with potential. It's a way of spreading writing and ideas to a new audience.
Why is Wendigoon or whatever in all of these? Anybody know?
And all you have to do is be honest about it. That also forces you to be accountable. You'd have to ask permission and get the approval of the people who wrote what you're adapting, which clears up any potential criticisms or infringement on the existing work. Speaking of adaptation, what about different languages? This is another way of sneaking plagiarism under the radar.
You might be wondering why I am subtitled in Portuguese.
A few years back, Jeff Thu, the guy James quoted someone quoting, covered how a Brazilian YouTuber had been stealing dozens of videos from him and other English-speaking creators, but in Portuguese, so us cadelas would never notice. This sucks, but it also points to one of the core barriers to accessibility for creators. Most videos are trapped in their mother.
I'm going to start stealing Danny Gonzalez's videos, but in French. I can take these out, right? I forgot. Anyway. That's a joke, by the way, obviously.
The tongue, making them hard to watch in other languages and therefore easier to steal. This is why some clever creators very smartly let their producer trick him into paying people to do proper captions for the vaccines video in Portuguese, Spanish, and French so more people could engage with the facts of the story, and pathologic into Russian because I know who watches that video. Translation is a big part of video discovery, in more ways than one. For Spoonie fans, a lot of his old videos used to be missing, as non-YouTube video hosts died and their content didn't make the jump. Many of his videos weren't viewable on YouTube, were it not for the Spoonie Russ. A Russian fan of Spoonie re-uploaded his videos with Russian subtitles, and some of these were the only versions of those videos that existed on the net, at least for a while. Subtitling his videos didn't just make him accessible to a new language, but to the original language too. That's pretty cool. But you can go deeper than sub. You can dub. Counter-Strike tuber 3Clicks Philip dubbed two of a Russian creator's videos about mods they made into English, with permission of course. It's very cool that a video about game development got to cross the language barrier for us Tsukas to enjoy. There might actually be a market in adapting videos like this. I'm sure some of my videos would do very well if someone translated them into English. I think a lot of people are inclined to protect creators they like on the grounds that plagiarism is a very academic-sounding problem, like something that happens in research papers or journalism, not something that you can do in a silly...
Plagued moth. What? This person? I don't understand. This just sounds like Wendigoon's content. Sort of. It's horror stuff, right? I don't know anything about horror. And I don't particularly like it. I gotta be honest with y'all. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Well. Oops.
video made for entertainment purposes. Why are we holding YouTubers to standards? That would be like expecting accurate history from someone whose name has historian in it. Because YouTubers often project a sense of being scrappy, do-it-yourself amateurs, it feels almost wrong to expect them to be professional. But a lot of them are professionals, regardless how authentic their persona might be. I'm trying to find the LGBTQ
YouTubers
are now among the most
like
recognizable faces on the planet and have become immensely wealthy doing this. Some are so influential, we literally call them influencers. Maybe it's a good idea to have some standards for not stealing. Maybe. In current discourse, YouTubers simultaneously present as the forefront of a new medium, creative voices that need to be taken seriously as part of the next generation of media, and also ooh small beans little babies who shouldn't be taken seriously when they rip someone off and make tens of thousands of dollars doing it. But on the opposite end, YouTubers who act like serious documentarians gain a shroud of professionalism which then masks the deeply unprofessional things they do. We just saw that with James. I think he's partially got away with what he's doing for so long because he acts so professional about it, so people assume there's no way he could just be stealing shit, so they don't check. And on top of that, a lot of James's videos contain obvious mistakes and made-up facts, which we haven't even had the time to get into in this video. But because they're often presented next to well-researched stuff he stole, no one questions it.
Wendigoon, like, doesn't necessarily do gore, but he'll comment on, like, horror movies and stuff. I watched his what's it called? Iceberg video on, like, horror movies and stuff.
James repeat a lie in his videos, and then other people claim it's true and link his video as the proof. He has helped to solidify misinformation by seeming like he's doing his diligence. To quote the great philosopher Daniil Dankovsky, truth does not do as much good in the world as the appearance of truth does evil. Just kidding, he actually stole that from Francois de la Rochefoucauld. Cite your sources, bachelor! This becomes extremely glaring once you've seen how the other side lives. At the last VidCon I went to, like 4 years ago, I was taking an Uber and a bunch of people came in it with me because we were all going to the same place. A bunch of big YouTubers who I don't know super well, including really massive one, like way more important than me, you know? And we were all just making small talk, and I made a joke that was actually quite funny about the topic we were talking about.
Cat Black is a pretty good one, I think.
She laughed and took out her phone and tweeted it. She heard my joke and just casually went, oh, I'll have that, and it became her joke. And she just took it. People really liked the joke too, which felt kind of good, but not really. And what are you gonna do, complain and start a massive public fight with someone extremely famous and get smashed into dust by thousands of fans? No thanks. And that was my Uber too. I paid money to have one of my jokes stolen by a multimillionaire. When people hit a certain level of celebrity, they start to think the world actually revolves around them, and they can just take something if they want and say it's theirs. I don't have a clever analysis here. Some people are just fucking weird. I'm not smart enough to know what we're supposed to do about plagiarism. I think trying to fix it in any systemic way could risk making it worse. Let's imagine YouTube introduced some kind of plagiarism claim system. We'd be expecting someone at YouTube to be able to decide whether something is plagiarism or not. And I don't like the idea of YouTube having any more power than they already have. If there was a system for handling plagiarism, the Illuminatis of the world wouldn't stop. They'd find ways around it. We've seen in this very video how easy it is to get away with copyright infringement. Just blur the logos and slap a filter over it. These systems are so untrustworthy, when Internet Historian correctly got copyright claimed for stealing an entire article, people automatically assumed it was some kind of mistake, because YouTube is quite fairly viewed as bad at handling this, just as likely to shut down perfectly fair use work as it is actual infringement of copyright. A system like this would also allow bad actors to falsely accuse people, which would create a lot of problems for their targets. People falsely copyright claim videos they don't like all the time already. It's happened to me. I almost had to give a Nazi my home address so that a video would go back up. I'm half expecting some of the people this video was about to try it with this one. Maybe let's not give YouTube any more easily exploitable features. I want my joke back, but I can live without it if it means not giving the bad guys another toy. Simply being able to talk about plagiarism and bring attention to it and let people decide if something is and who they want to support going forward, that's good enough for now. But don't take my word for it on this. I'm certainly not. Someone smarter than me might come up with a better.
I fact-checked the worst. You're telling me I have another 2 hours of content to watch? Y'all. Y'all hate me. That's what I'll watch it.
Idea.
I'll include
let's keep
it.
Our eyes peeled for that. As technology progresses, the methods of plagiarism are getting stranger and more complex. The hot new tool in the Stealing Tools box is generative AI, like ChatGPT, Stable Diffusion, or Midjourney, which can produce new art or words on command using a process known as stealing. Sorry, that's an oversimplification. The process is called, complicated stealing. Theoretically, generative AI works by training on a large dataset of existing material to figure out how to make new things. Before we even ask whether stuff generated by this counts as original, we have to ask, how did they get all that material? Well, by taking a lot of stuff without its creator's consent. ChatGPT has intricate knowledge of copyrighted works it shouldn't legally have access to, and when you ask it to write something original, it's just smushing all the stolen data together and using pattern recognition to try to guess the next word. It can't actually intuit things based on context. Here's what ChatGPT thinks I'd say about ChatGPT. It's like having your own personal tutor, therapist, and fact-checker rolled into one. So whether you're here for the knowledge, the banter, or just to see how deep the rabbit hole goes, buckle up. It knows I say buckle up.
I had ChatGPT describe my channel once. It was kind of epic. I wonder if it will still work. I'll
give
check.
you that. None of the people whose stuff was stolen to create this were asked permission or compensated. I certainly wasn't, but you bet they're charging you a monthly subscription for the privilege of using Theft Machine 4.0. When you look into what a large language model actually does, it boils down to a slightly more advanced version of mashing the predictive text button on your phone, which makes it especially dangerous when it comes to writing reliable information. AI frequently hallucinates imaginary people, books, and historical events because it doesn't actually know any facts, just what facts look like. It's like asking James who came up with Disney Gay Days. You can't trust it. They had to put "Don't trust me" at the bottom so they don't get in trouble for inventing a machine that makes up lies. But because it has copied a lot of text and can guess a lot of new ways of saying it, the power this tool brings specifically to thieves is tremendous. ChatGPT's one truly impressive feature is how well it enables plagiarism. You could just paste a bunch of stolen stuff you got from Wikipedia or someone else's video in there and tell it to rewrite it so it sounds different. I wouldn't be surprised if James's videos suddenly stop having easily detectable plagiarism in them right around the time computers become able to launder this type of theft. Now it's a machine accidentally changing the quotes. Some creators have found people copying their work using this exact method, feeding their videos transcripts into a GPT, asking for a different sounding version and using it as the basis for a new video. While it's scary to consider a world where machines crank out videos copying your work and replace you, the plagiarism is extremely obvious. It's just someone's script reworded badly. The thumbnails are just a thesaurus version of the originals that doesn't even make sense, and the videos themselves actively demonstrate they're using footage from the original video. It's sloppy. The videos are unwatchably bad, so no one watched them. When someone finally did, they were caught immediately. Not to downplay the chance for these to be successful, or the possibility of a more sophisticated version in the future, but it's heartening to recognize that these aren't even really AI. A person had to make these videos. It's still just people doing the stealing here. Pointing out AI was involved is almost a misdirection. A human being stole a video and made his own. All the AI did was speed up the process of making a shitty,
Yeah, when did it tweeted something about, like, because I guess people were like, oh, bye, EMC. We're tweeting something about his involvement, I assume, because of Internet Historian or something. And they, he said something like, I just want to love my wife and God or something. And I was like, show, like... I was like, what? All right. By the way, we're just going to finish this and I'm going to head off and I'm going to think about this a lot more, I think, which is good. That's what these are for. Like, when a lot of people are like, how is this even research? Blah, blah, blah. Because I like to kind of gauge the opinions and try to get a bit more of a perception through wider people than just myself, and to help critique and structure how I'm going to go about it. And yeah, so that's what I'm thinking of doing. So, and then I'm going to watch the Todd in the Shadows one, and then I'm going to also do the I tried to and it didn't work. I have to pull up my old one. And then I will also add in some other stuff. But internet plagiarized Cosmic and Cordy video. Oh, interesting.
The stolen video by doing the bad rewriting for them. People have been ripping each other off long before AI happened, and for now, it's still people. So, why do people plagiarize? We've talked a lot of superficials in this video, wanting money or prestige or clout or to get one over on your enemies by jacking their stuff, but these are small things. There's other ways of getting those. The reason humans copy like this, I think, goes a bit deeper. We don't exactly live in a world built for humans, do we? There's no guidebook for happiness or success or a sense of place in the world, and the people claiming to have one for you are really just trying to sell you something. We spend most of our little lives struggling to make these feelings fade away, or find something to placate them. It's either ennui, or being ennuied. I know it's a little pretentious, but we're all searching for a sense of meaning and purpose in our lives, and those things are hard to come by. There's a little bit of nothing in all of us, and we'd like to fill it with something. Opening your web browser and seeing someone who seems to have it figured out, making you feel better and entertaining you, and seeming to attract an audience on this roulette wheel of a planet.
Mika's Rhetoric is a YouTube channel focused on teaching effective communication skills and public speaking techniques. Channel offers a variety of videos on topics such as persuasive speaking, body language, vocal delivery, and presentation design. Mika, the host of the channel, provides practical tips and examples to help viewers improve their communication skills in various settings, including academic, professional, and personal contexts. The channel aims to empower individuals to communicate confidently and persuasively by enhancing their rhetoric skills. No Squishmallows mentioned. Opinion rejected. That's funny. Where were we?
That's powerful. There's someone who seems to understand what they're supposed to be doing, and it's working. That's all anyone really wants. Sure, in retrospect, a bunch of people wanting to be exactly like the AVGN sounds silly, but he knew who he was. he was the angriest gamer you've ever heard. We can laugh, in fact, you're supposed to. But that's a human being with purpose. There's someone who's not anxious about their place in the world anymore. It's very difficult not to want that completeness for yourself, not to just be like someone, but to be them, to attain that sense of knowing. In real life, James Rolfe is a human being with all sorts of problems and fears, but that doesn't stop people from wanting to be like the person he seems, someone who knows their place in the world. I know this is getting a bit pretentious and heavy for a video about plagiarism, but I do worry there are people out there who will never get the chance to become who they are, because they're too busy trying to be like someone else who, at best, has it figured out for themselves just a little bit. I feel like I know who I am and how to live my life, and that makes me feel happy and somewhat complete. And I don't think I'd have ever found myself if I was trying to chase someone else's sense of completeness. Basically, no one knows how to live your life, and you might not either, but the only person who's going to figure it out is you. And you won't find that by trying to be the next that person. You can only be the first of whoever it is that you are. Other people help in small ways, though. They give you pointers to who you could be. And I think what makes me happiest in the world is feeling like I might have helped some people with that. People take inspiration from my work sometimes, and that is very cool. It's the ultimate flattery, and let's be honest, the closest I'll ever come to having children. If you find any happiness or success making something creatively, and you think I helped, thank you. Feeling like I can do that for someone makes me happy in a way I can't describe. And if you find a lot of success doing it, give me all of your money.
So Maria, what's your opinion with that? Is this how long the credits are?
Wow, the boom mic is still out of frame. Oh, and I'm just gonna be going, keep making stuff like this.
Yeah, that's whatever. I just Patreon plug stuff and things like that. I'm not too crazy about that. That's okay though. Like, not everybody has to like it either, right? I don't wanna dogpile in the chat because someone doesn't like the video. Okay, so that was a rough start for sure. I will concede to that. But we have gotten somewhere. So epic and slay. Now I'm going to oh, there's more after the credits?
Not literally this, though. This shouldn't have happened. I have good videos coming that I've also been working on. Those are happening as well. I didn't just make this for 10 months, I promise. I have a video about Myst that's 90 minutes long and is just up for patrons. Check it out. That video was actually good.
No, there's nothing else.
It was printed in the Cinemassacre. I knocked it over. The comment of 28 Days Later that was ripped off in the Cinemassacre section, I knocked it over. The Film Comment website claims that that was printed in the physical magazine. Film Comment has an actual magazine edition. So obviously I thought, well, if I could get a copy of that, that would be great for some footage. I should get some shots of it for the video. So I painstakingly tracked down a copy of a 20-year-old magazine, which I just knocked on the floor. 1 second. Here we are. And I have footage of me opening this to get the shot of the review, and it's not in it. I thought, oh, maybe they messed up which issue of the magazine it was in on the website. But then before I did any more searching for ancient magazines, I emailed Professor Syed and just asked if it was ever printed, and she said no, it wasn't. So I wasted a lot of time trying to get a shot that I ended up not getting. And that's why videos like this take this long. Okay, imagine something like that happening once a week. This is why people steal things. Doing your own research is life-ruining. Tune in next time when I make a donut.
That was a bit weird. I didn't like that. Anyway, whatever. All right. So that is that on that. I'm gonna rethink my whole life and all my decisions and everything I've ever thought in my life. I think that's where I'm at right now. So this might be one of those videos where we're not reading the comments section. Okay. Thank you. The Mook, I think. I bought the, I wanted this for such a long time. This is the Lunar Beauty Strawberry Dream Palette from Manny Predator Protector UA. But I went to Winners, which is Canadian TJ Maxx, and they had it, and I think people thought that this was like a knockoff palette or something, because they priced this at 15 Canadian dollars, which is like $10 US for, and then it said that its full price was 30 Canadian dollars, which is like 24 US dollars, 22 US dollars. And there was only one. That was, and in Montreal, they're all locked in like the boxes, like the plastic boxes. This one was randomly just not in a box. It was just on the counter. It was priced and everything. But the thing is, it's like 15 Canadian dollars is like 10 US dollars. This is 67 US dollars on the site still. Plus to ship it here is $20 US. So, yeah. This is, I'm really happy to get a really, really nice palette that I've really wanted for really cheap and not really support the person, because that's also another reason I never really bit the bullet and bought this. Yeah, so I think it's kind of epic, and I have to say the shadows are really nice. So, 20-minute Illuminati video on second channel started thread in the comments about hyperallergenic puppy mill dog. Oh, jeez. Yes, I keep getting recommended the $20 for shipping is incredibly incredibly common to Canada. The postal system here is really expensive. I ordered from ColourPop and it was like 15 US to ship it or something. So, it is what it is. You get used to it when you live here, really. I bought Lethal Cosmetics multi-chromes. And then, like, these. And I think I paid, like, $20 to ship it or something. My gripe with this palette a little bit, the shimmers have a really nice base, but they're not that shiny. Like, I think I'm actually going to add a little bit of the Lethal Multichrome on top. See how much more that gives? That gives a lot more, sparkle. Yeah, that's better. So, yeah, the shipping in Canada is big, not slay. So, yep, that's that on that. I'm actually gonna make a foodie beauty video right now, because also I'm clearly not ready for the other one. So, the H Bomber Guy video, I don't know. It's coming when it's coming at this point. Probably. I was trying to do this weekend, but I think I'm gonna have to push it to like Monday or something because I got too much stuff to do. Yes, I do use mascara. I just forgot. I knew I was forgetting something. I prime my eyelashes with brow wax, so no mascara matters to me, but I tend to like really light ones, so I'm using the e.l.f. Lash and Roll right now. The Benefit Roller Lash Dupe. I've liked this a lot. I did see the Smoky Glow came back. And I watched that video 2 minutes after it came out. I was seated. Somebody asked about somebody else. Oh yes, the Do We Know Them podcast. Yes. I'm just waiting. I want to see it play out a little bit more, and then I think I'm going to make a video on it, actually. But they have an episode on it they released today, and I'm going to look into that. And yeah, I'm already looking into that. What name? Smoky Glow? Is the e.l.f. one lengthening? Yes, I tend to only buy lengthening mascaras because I find volume ones make my lashes too clumpy. So I prime my lashes with brow wax. That's why it helps, because it's literally glue. That's why. Like, I use Anastasia Brow Freeze. I don't want to make a... Okay, hold on. Someone keeps asking me to make a video on K-pop. I don't listen to K-pop. I don't know anything about K-pop. And I have some weird stuff in my life that makes me not into K-pop. That's happened to me because of somebody that I knew. Anyway. Did Smoky Glow do something? Smoky Glow just talked about why she was gone for like the past year. And it was a lot of really tragic things that happened. And it was really sad. So. Yeah, like her video. Here, I can even link it. Hold on. Yeah, I also don't know anything about music. That's the other thing. I don't have anything to add. Like, I just don't know anything about it. What is Mama Oh, I was gonna look at that and then I forgot. Who is this? What? What does he do? Anybody know? Am I gonna give me a synopsis? A lot of moist critical content. Okay. What is happening? Are you a Zionist? What? No? Where's that from? Okay. Yeah, I agree that the hate was a bit disproportionate for sure. Is that a shark in a mask? Yes, it is. I got it at Costco last year. So, Predator expose. Oh. Predator stuff. I don't like talking about that stuff because I think something always gets weirdly misconstrued. And then the thing is, too, right? When people comment on somebody, the people who comment on them get way more flack than the people who actually did the bad thing. So, there's a lot going on with that. Okay. I think with that, I'm going to scoot. So, y'all have fun. And I'll see you around.